The current challenges brought about by COVID-19 all around the globe are unparalleled and has caused fear, anxiety, and uncertainty for so many of us. We are all going through this together, and there is no one right way to cope with what we're experiencing. Remember, however you're feeling, there are others that feel the same, and it's important to understand that you are not alone. Here are a few dentistry students struggling to cope during this time. We asked them, what do you think is the biggest challenge for your mental health since the pandemic has started?
So during this time, since we can't go out in order to unwind or do activities that we used to do pre-pandemic, this really took a toll on my mental health, and as a result, I slowly lost focus and energy in doing my ACADS. And this even felt more draining compared when there was still no COVID.
The biggest challenge for me was probably acceptance. It was very overwhelming how things happened or changed so fast while having the knowledge that this pandemic is a circumstance that no one can control.
The biggest challenge for me is battling the feeling of loneliness and isolation talaga. I've been stuck here at home for more than a year already, imagine. It's a really big adjustment for me because I was the gala everyday type of student back then. I miss the get-togethers, the ayaan kumain after class moments, and of course, the face-to-face classes. I miss the feeling of having physical companions while learning. Kasi iba pa rin talaga yung feeling kapag andyan sila sa tabi mo. May karamay ka.
So, the biggest challenge na na-encounter ko simula nung nag-start yung pandemic is yung distance. Simula nung nawalay ako sa mga kaibigan ko, parang na-feel ko I'm lonely. Kasi nga ako, only kahiya lang ako eh. Only child lang ako in the family. So, wala talaga akong kausap sa bahay. Usually, mga friends ko lang, or it's either some of my family members. Yun lang. Konti lang kami dito. So, it was really hard for me na wala na ako makakausap dito sa bahay, kundi ang sarili ko.
How can I cope up with my stress and my anxiety? Because I used to release these emotions. I'd go out with my friends or just do something outside. I wouldn't stay indoors. And since we couldn't do that, my stress and my anxiety started to develop into angerment issues. Like the smallest things would trigger me, and I really didn't know how to cope up with what I used to do and how I'll be able to do it now.
Ever since online classes for me started, I've been in a constant state of anxiety. We had pre-clinical subjects, so we had resto, prosto, raw-ent, things like those that need lab requirements. And I think the cause for that anxiety is not knowing whether you are doing good or not knowing whether you are good enough because you don't have anything to compare to, not knowing the materials for a particular procedure, and even if you have the materials, you don't know if the material that you got is right, if it's the right brand. So you just want to go out and check for yourself, but then you can't go out because it's COVID outside. So that just added more to the stress, and that just stayed there for the entire school year, and it was really emotionally taxing, and it's still ongoing.
Being confined with myself with very minimal social interaction. We hear people say that being alone is good, but to what extent? After more than a year of this lockdown, I feel like my social skills have slowly faded away. I used to be so active with sports, going out, having fun, but now I tend to feel drained even if I've barely moved the whole day. Sometimes I don't even have the energy to reply to people, start schoolwork, or do the things that I used to love.
We have just heard some of the ways people are being affected by the current situation. That's why we asked the next question, how do they cope up?
So the first would be because of my friends, because I wouldn't be able to cope up with the things that I do every day without their support. From their simpleng, "Uy, kumusta ka na? Kumain ka na ba?" It goes a long way, and it gives me motivation to do much better every day.
I was able to cope up by confiding in people because for sure, so much people probably felt the same way I felt. So beginning conversations and talking it out was a really big help in accepting the situation we are in.
I spent time with my loved ones, especially with my friends virtually by watching and playing games together.
I try my best to always keep in touch with my friends. I'm actually very lucky and thankful for the support system that I have right now. I can feel that my family is there for me, and I also met new people this year.
Kapag hindi okay yung mental health ko, I normally talk to my friends na sabihin ko, babe, I'm not okay right now, can we talk a while? Tapos, syempre, oo, yan. Tapos, kwento ko na lahat ng sama ng loob ko, mga hinanakit ko, mga iniinda kong sakit, kinukwento ko na sa kanila. Then, after that, I feel better. Pero syempre, kapag busy sila, I normally work out. I normally make myself better by exercising or limiting my usage of gadgets para hindi stressful kakatigil sa internet. Syempre, radiation pa lang nakakasakit na sa ulo, di ba?
So I found ways to communicate with my friends and video call them. And I also newly got into a video game which I still do play until now, and that really helped me a lot to ease the stress and anxiety and the angerment issues.
I'm able to cope up by doing things that distract me, because I find myself sometimes just lying on my bed doing absolutely nothing, and I'd rather do something that's productive or do something that I enjoy. So it can be whatever, from the most random thing ever to anything, working out, doing calisthenics, playing video games, reading books, and it can even be doing the things that you've never done before, like cooking and baking. So instead of sulking over doing things and just lying down in your bed, you're doing something else, which is good for your mental health.
I cope by distracting myself with new hobbies. I baked for a while, started reading again, made Legos, tried different workouts. I even started my own crochet business. The possibilities are endless talaga.
Therefore, we can say that the ways of coping up is different for everyone. So it's important that we should find what works for us. We also asked them, what do they look forward to when the pandemic is over?
So, of course, I'm looking forward to doing activities with my friends again, such as gala, picking out, and doing the things that we haven't done pre-pandemic.
For sure, seeing everyone again face to face, because the warmth is still different and more sincere.
I'm looking forward to travel, spend more time with my family and friends, meet my college friends, and also face-to-face classes.
I think una kong gagawin is aayain ko yung friends ko na mag-Samgyup. We keep on making plans kasi pero hindi talaga matuloy since ang layo namin sa isa't isa. Like yung iba taga-province, ganon. Kaya nga we named our group chat Long Distance Friends.
Kapag natapos na yung pandemic, pupuntahan ko yung mga kaibigan ko. Manggugulo ako. Tapos makikikain ako sa kanila. Tapos pupunta kami sa labas, magbumuhal kami. Pupunta kami Watson, bibili kami ng pang skincare. Kasi ubus na yung pang skincare namin. Tapos I'm gonna spend the whole day with them. Pupunta kaming time zone. Lahat ng na-miss namin dahil sa pandemic, gagawin namin kapag natapos na yung pandemic. Kahit mapagod kaming lahat, tatapusin namin lahat yan.
To go back to the way I used to cope up with this, go out with my friends, see them again because it's almost been like 2 years, and see my family also since we can't really bond together because of the pandemic, so safety first.
I definitely look forward to seeing my friends because I feel like I don't even know what they look like anymore. Because you can see them online, you can see them through video chat, but it's really different seeing them in real life, and it feels so surreal. You get that sense of joy that you've been wanting ever since quarantine started, and instead of being surrounded by walls, you're surrounded with friends, and I'm really looking forward to that.
In my case, once this pandemic is over, I'm looking forward to constantly seeing my friends and family, face-to-face classes, traveling, and even little things like eating out or soaking up the sun. Honestly, any opportunity to create new memories is something to hope for because I really miss creating meaningful connections. And I think that once we're able to do all of these things, we'll learn to cherish every moment that we have more than we ever did before.
Surely we have heard such heartwarming answers. And lastly, we asked them a simple message for people who are struggling with their mental health.
It's really hard fighting for mental stability because not everyone is privileged that they can afford going to psychiatrists, therapy. With that being said, I think the best thing to do is to acknowledge each and everyone's struggle in their mental health condition and look for ways, simple ways, kahit papano, just to disburden their feeling of stress, their anxiety. And since healing process is different for each and everyone, we should not invalidate what they feel because our mental health is just as important as our physical health.
If you're struggling with your mental health, I wouldn't want to say that you'll be okay or anything like that because that sounds pretty cliche. Instead, I want to say you have to be strong for yourself. If not for yourself, then for your family. If not for your family, then for the people who love you.
Being able to give yourself time to acknowledge the state you are in will allow openness and a better state.
Know that hindi tayo nag-iisa sa laban na to. We have our friends, our relatives, our teachers, our guidance counselors para tulungan tayo sa ating mga mental health problems.
Best advice will be to not isolate yourself talaga. I can't emphasize that enough. Try your best to make new friends, be there for each other, and explore new hobbies rin para ma-distract ka. Try to look at the brighter side of things. Just like yung fact na because of this pandemic is you had more time to spend with your family.
The best advice that I can give you is to simply prioritize progress over perfection. This applies to anything. For example, we put so much pressure on ourselves to complete an X amount of tasks when in actuality, we can only do so much in a day. Take it one step at a time as a little progress each day leads to the tomorrow that you want. And don't forget to stay in touch with reality. Stay connected with the people that you care about as much as you can.
If you think that you're having a hard time now and it's not gonna get any better, it will, I promise you. And surround yourself with positive people, with the people that you love. Do things that you like doing. Just go for it and you'll be okay.
It is important to know that this COVID-19 pandemic is not just a battle for physical health, but for mental health as well. Mental health awareness should be widely spread here in the Philippines so that those who experience it will not feel invalidated and scared, and those that are mentally capable could be of big help. Acknowledge, share, and care. Our mental health is not less nor more than our physical health. Both deserves proper attention, care, and treatment.